Hi, and welcome to this episode of Victory Talk with Latasha White. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending just a few minutes of your time to hopefully gather a few nuggets that'll help you lead your life just a little bit better. Whew, my goodness, we are at the end of the first quarter of 2021. You talk about time going fast. I mean, it is speeding along. So, what I want to remind you of is that you are doing an amazing job. Yep, you're doing an amazing job. You are doing the things that you are called to do. You are showing up in your own life. You are taking care of the people who you're called to take care of. You need to stop for a second and give yourself a good old pat on the back for doing the thing. If you don't feel like you're falling within that, if you don't feel like you've been showing up and doing the thing, if you don't feel like you've been taking care of the people and the things that you're called to, it's not too late. You're still here. Get in alignment of your assignment. And so what I want to encourage you is that there's always a map to get to where you want to go, right? You're here. Your destination is here. And just like when you put something in the GPS, it's going to tell you what the route is, what route to take, what's the fastest route, what's the one with the least amount of detours, and what's the one that's going to maybe be just a few miles out of your way, but still going to get you to your destination. That's what I want to encourage you, is that there's no straight path. There is no wrong way as long as you still get to where you're supposed to go. There's going to be bumps along the way. There's going to be lumps along the way. There's going to be things that sidetrack you, detour you. Life is still going to happen, but that's okay. Get back on your track. That's what I want to encourage you, is that just because life happens, just because things go a little bit differently than what you planned, doesn't mean that you can't get back on track. Doesn't mean that you still can't get the accomplishment that you were set out to do. Whatever that looks like for you. It could be something that has to do with schooling. It could be something that has to do with just your normal day-to-day life. It could be with parenting. It could be how you show up in your own home. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm asking you to look within yourself to figure out, what is that thing? What are the things that I'm called to do that I really might not have been executing in just the right way, or I've kind of let go by the wayside and was like, I'll get to it, but you haven't gotten to it. That's okay. There's still time, because you're still here, like I said. And so what you need to do right here and now, grab something to write with. Write down the first thing that comes to your heart, that this is what I set out to do and I haven't done it. It's only for you. You're not going to show it to anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. Eventually you will, because you have to be accountable to someone, or you won't do it. Hence the reason that you haven't done it to this point. But what I want to encourage you is that once you identify what it is, that's when you can start to map out what that progress is going to look like. What's the road to that measure of success going to look like for you? So I don't want you to get too discouraged that, oh my gosh, it's going to take me however long. That's okay. That amount of time is going to go by anyway. And so if you don't ever start, you're still going to be in the same place once that amount of time has gone by. The beauty is that you get to pick it up and still put those things in place that you need to do. If you can't figure out at all where to start, always start at the beginning. Start at the beginning. Where were you? What was going on? When you had this thought, when your heart said do this, where were you? What was going on in your life? What gave you the idea that you were supposed to do it? And then work your way forward from there. Sometimes you have to work yourself from where you are right now and backwards. And so maybe this is where you're at. Life has been going fast and you've been moving and shaking and doing the thing. And now you're like, let me stop and take a breath and recalibrate and make sure that I'm on the right path. Sometimes you have to work it backwards and say, okay, let me kind of redo this a little bit differently. Let me figure out what I might have done kind of the wrong way back here, and then work it back up. And so I don't want you to just stop. I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, this is just too hard. I'm never going to pick it up again. That's why I stopped in the first place, because I don't feel like, I don't want to. As I've told y'all before, when you start a statement with, I don't feel like, that's the very first thing that kind of triggers you that says, yes, you should, because you don't get to lead yourself with your feelings. So here's the deal. Write those things down. Get it out of your heart. And I'm not saying in your head because it has to go from your heart to your head to execute. But right now it's in your heart. Get it from your heart onto the paper. Just write it all down. Just let it go. Just flow, 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 flow. What's in your heart? What's it saying? Where is it leading you to? Who is it leading you to? Don't be surprised with what comes out. It's not always what you think. It's not always what you would do. But these are the things that have been placed in you for a reason. And so I'm asking you to just get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. And then once you do, identify those things that make you be like, ooh, it's a little bit unnerving, a little bit scary, but you know that it's right. That's the one that you pick up and run with. So thank you so much for joining me here again on Victory Talk with LaTasha White. Email me, info@latashawhite.com. Connect with me. Remember, I have those 30-minute complimentary sessions on my calendar just for you. And until you decide to connect with me, remember to lead with love anyway.